Hedgie, what's the number on your ass last night? And you know what? Here's what I'm really interested in because I don't have any more information on it yet.
I don't know what that means either.
I have asked around, and I want to know are they drawing a number on Austin Hedges' butt?
I hope not.
Does he have a number 8 tattoo? Are they shaving it into his hair? I don't know what's going on with Austin Hedges' butt right now, but it's a celebration. You can hear him as like he says it, and immediately you hear Austin Hedges go, "We need 8 more!" And Mike, I was really legitimately thinking that while he was being interviewed by Rosenthal after the game last night, I was watching him, and I was counting because I remember I was texting back and forth with Derek a few days ago, and I was like, "Man, that was awesome," and he said 11 more, and I was like, "Oh yeah, we need 11 more to win the World Series." And then so now this series is closed out, and how many more do you need? I was trying to count in my head, and I was like, do you think Bochy even brings that up to his team? Like, hey, this is the countdown. It's an interesting psychology of.
I think a little bit, but not much.
He discusses everything, though, man.
Because he talks about one game at a time. Last night, when I think whether it was Rosenthal, whether it was Emily Jones, obviously I'm doing the job last night, so I'm not getting to watch Fox or Fox Sports 1 with, I'm sure, guys that are really watching the game closely, David Ortiz and Alex Rodriguez I do think Derek Jeter is, by the way. I hope he doesn't fall into that category of I don't really watch the game, I just live off of my name. Bochy was talking about, in the press conference, he said, look, no, because they kind of asked him, who are you? Have you looked at the Astros? Have you looked at the Twins? He's like, no, not at all. He's concentrating on tonight's game. Now, he might bring up, obviously, how many games you have to win being a wild card team to win it all. I get it. Pat Riley did that, and unfortunately it worked out for him in 2006, and they beat the Mavericks in the end thanks to David Stern wanting to really make Dwayne Wade a star. Congratulations, David Stern. I would just say that I think you have to concentrate on one game at a time and not make it a bigger number. Because if I tell you 8's a big number. If I tell you win this inning, just win this inning.
Yeah.
If I tell you just win this game, let's figure out how we win each at bat. Let's figure out how we win each at bat when you're on the mound pitching. Let's figure out how we win one inning at a time. That's doable. I can't win 8 games today. And I understand they understand that too.
So you're questioning Bochy's management is what you're saying.
Yes.
You were saying, I don't know if this guy's right
If all
for
he's
the
doing
job.
is talking about winning 13 games and then winning 11 games and then winning 8 games. Obviously, Adolis talked about it. So they are talking about, hey, they got to win 4 in the ALCS and they have to win 4 in the World Series. But I think Bochy, I'm not questioning this. I know that Bochy is talking way more about tonight's game.
Yeah.
Then, all right, I know we're playing game 1 on Sunday, but I really want to talk about Wednesday's game here at home that we are still 2 games away from having. So I do think he really concentrates on the moment.
Yeah, he definitely does. Even whenever he interviews with us, you can hear he's present. That's an important thing in life. But like last night and going back to when they got into the playoffs, he said, we celebrate achievements. And they celebrated last night, as they should, damn it. And they in that moment, he was like, look, we've accomplished this. This is what we have in front of us if we want to have an even bigger party and even bigger champagne room later down the road. And I'm hoping, man, you know me, I'm hoping that champagne room does come.
Look, I grew up a big Ranger fan. My first ever favorite baseball player was Oda B. McDowell.
Yep.
He was number 0. I can remember going to Arlington Stadium. I'm sure I'd been there before, but I can really remember at like 6 years old going there for the first time. And Scotty Fletcher was the shortstop and Oda B. McDowell was the center fielder. And obviously they had Charlie Huff, and I can remember Bobby Witt and Jose Guzman and Edwin Correa and Jeff Russell and Delma Horsick. I mean, just to give you Mike Stanley and Gino Petralli sharing catching duties. I mean, so I can remember all that. Steve Buechele, who, what a blessing I get to work with. I can remember meeting him for a birthday present / Christmas present. My dad took me to the Rangers clubhouse, and this was in November, December, and Steve Buechele was there working out, and he took time out of his day to talk to this little 10-year-old runt that was in the clubhouse. So excited, to be there, and he gave me 10 or 20 minutes of his time. And my dad, had a present for me. I got a Don Mattingly autographed bat that day. So I can remember all of these things. I got to meet Bobby Valentine, who later in my life would be a manager of mine for the New York Mets. So look, my love for the Texas Rangers goes back. Obviously, Chris Young has talked about. You kind of fall a little bit out of love with your childhood team when you're playing for other teams, because you are concentrating on your career. You're concentrating on getting some dude out in AA. You know, you're not really concentrating on what's Rusty Greer doing right now for the Texas Rangers tonight. So, but I feel the love and the passion, and that Chris Young was able to become not only a hero at Highland Park and then at Princeton and then for the Texas Rangers and then along his baseball career, but he's getting to be the general manager of the team that he grew up loving.
Yeah, this is wild. And Mike, I did kind of want to talk with you about how this team was built.
Yeah.
Because there are going to be some people out there that like just keep trying to plug John Daniels' name in there, and he made some significant moves.
Yes, there's a lot of John Daniels footprints on this team, and Chris Young would be the first one to tell you that John Daniels has a part in this success.
I would also say that John Daniels would be very risk averse in a lot of the moves where Chris Young said, okay, all right, I'm going for it. I'm going to let it hang.
And Mike Maddox would never be. I mean, I like John Daniels, but I do not think that without Chris Young, I do not think Mike Maddox and Bruce Bochy are part of the Rangers organization, which means I don't think, nothing against Woody. We love Chris Woodward. I don't think that you would have the success you had if you were still letting everything be run through research and development. The Rangers and Chris Young and Bruce Bochy use a lot of the research and development team, or analytics, whatever you want to call it. They use a lot of it. They
and their
love
experience
it.
And
they
gut.
need it. But if that's all you use and that's all you do, you probably don't find the success that the Rangers have had in 2023.
So the idea happened last year. They said we're moving on from Chris Woodward. We still have a bunch of young players. We have 2 great stars that we've paid money to. What else do we need? We need to add some pitching. Yeah. We need a manager that can really, instead of just, because John Daniels' history of hiring managers was hire guys that haven't had a job yet and give them their first chance to manage. And I get to control a lot of the lineup and stuff like that. And these guys will, kind of run with it and just be the guys that listen to me. And then here we are with this GM that says, no, I need a guy that can manage a clubhouse, that is the guy that guys look up to, a man's man. And so that's his first move is, I got to get this guy.
I love what you're saying.
He closes the deal to get that guy to be the guy running the show.
And I don't know this, Chris Young could answer this, and I don't know, look, he keeps things away from the media. Yeah. Every general manager and, like Jerry Jones doesn't. I totally get it. But did the research and development team say, put Mitch Garver in for game 2 at the 3 spot, put Evan Carter in the 5 spot for this series, take him out of the 9 spot, do this, do that, use Andrew? I do think they got a lot of information on Andrew Heaney at Camden Yards, which was a very smart use of him. Put in Cody Bradford, the rookie, over Martin Perez.
Yes.
In the situation over Montgomery. Like, there's a lot that goes into, and there's a lot of analytics. Those guys do a tremendous job of giving as much information as they can to the coaching staff and to somewhat the players, which gets handed to the players but all of those situations are not research and development situations. Sometimes you have to rely on a manager to put together your lineup and put together your pitching staff and make ballsy decisions with the bullpen in situations that there's not enough time for all the information to be handed down. Look, Dave Roberts is a friend of mine. He's going to be fighting for his life tonight against the Arizona Diamondbacks to try to stay in the series. The Dodgers have had a lot of success in a lot of different ways. We would love to be the Dodgers over the next decade, but they do use a lot of do not go with your gut. Mm-hmm. Do not go with feel. Go with these numbers. And it's worked out tremendously for the Dodgers for the most part. And I love Dave Roberts. I do not want Dave Roberts to get let go. And Dave Roberts is part of Bruce Bochy because he was under Bruce Bochy.
Chris Young is what you said the other day. He lived baseball. Yeah. So he's like, I have an education in baseball that is different than anybody else.
He might be Nolan Ryan and John Daniels put together.
Probably so.
Before this year, the most success the Rangers have ever had, let's see where this year takes us, was Nolan Ryan and John Daniels, or vice versa, however you want to put them. I'm not trying to put Nolan over John Daniels. Them working together. They might have not liked working together or loved working together, But those two together made a lethal combination. Those two without each other is a different situation.
Yeah, and it really was the turning point was getting Seager and Simeon, because that really did force you to say, okay, we paid these guys this money. We can't just say that's good enough. The fans will show up to watch them.
Yeah.
Like that was a turning point because they made the investment that forced them. That was skin in the game now. Yeah. We are at a point where we have to make something else. We can't just say that's good enough. They wouldn't get DeGrom. Okay. He gets injured. We kind of expect it. But they were like, that's not good enough either. Let's get Evaldi while we're at it. And you know what? This Andrew Heaney kid, let's get him and hope that he can keep what he did last year. Evaldi's signing was amazing at this point. That. I know he missed parts of the regular season. We were just kind of hoping he could find a form. He found it. He's back. But he, early in the season, what he's done in the clubhouse, and those things are things that Chris Young, he thought about, very thoughtful about, hey, I want to make sure I get these things. Then they're middle of the season, are we good enough?
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's look around and say.
And Ray Davis had to say, go for it.
He did.
Ray Davis, when they got the All-Star game, next year the Rangers host the All-Star game. When the Rangers got the All-Star game and Ray Davis stepped up to the podium and said, I give Chris Young free reign to do anything possible it takes to give this team the best opportunity for Bruce Bochy to be managing next year the All-Star game, which means whoever is in the World Series, those managers manage the All-Star game the next year. So Ray Davis had a commitment to, if it cost us Luis Angel Acuna, if it cost us certain prospects, do whatever you have to do, because we are in a position now to go for it now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if other owners in this Metroplex, without calling out anybody's name, to be very nice to those people, I don't think they're in it to win it the way that Ray Davis is in it to win it in 2023, going, if it does cost us in 2026, I'll worry about 2026 and 2026.
The addition of Chapman was unique. It was interesting, and it's been when he's on, it's a show. Erratic is something that you can say, but when he's on, it is a show. Then they're like, you know what? We need another pitcher. This Evaldi thing, the DeGrom thing, we need another pitcher. Let's go add Jordan Montgomery. And everybody was like, who?
Yeah, he was the secondary thing.
Yeah. And then they said, hey, but we also need relief pitching. The Stratton kid, he's not even with us right now. Oh, well, that's a move they made. They tried. Hey, let's also add Max Scherzer. And I know he hasn't pitched yet, but he could be pitching very soon. We'll get into that in just a few moments. Yeah. But probably the most important thing that they did, Mike, was add Austin Hedges, a guy who has pitched in relief so many times.
That dude, if you need him,
he's a vibe, dude.
However he does it, however he throws batting practice, the batting practice gets 3 outs.
And he, his whole energy in that clubhouse, he's talking with everybody. Mike, did you see the video last night of him and Max Scherzer just pouring beers on each other and just going insane? It was he keeps it loose in the clubhouse.
Yes, 100%. Here's what I don't know. And Jonah Heim has been just awesome as a catcher, behind the plate and hitting. But I just wonder with Jonah Heim, I don't know this. This is where being part of a team, inside things, and maybe we should ask this. Does Austin Hedges help out a little bit Jonah Heim with game planning, saying, hey, I've been behind the plate? Because Austin Hedges is
a good catcher.
The only reason he's in the major leagues is because he's an unbelievable catcher. Because the way he hits, you don't stay in the major leagues at all the way he hits.
He has the second best frame rate to Jonah.
Yeah. So not only framing, but I think also calling a game. Yeah. And there is a feel, right? Even Nate Evaldi said, yeah, we have a game plan going in, but you make adjustments off of the game plan. That's why I don't understand the first 15 plays, no matter what, in football type of situation. You don't make adjustments at all the first 15 plays. Hell, the Cowboys were in the third quarter by the time they got their 15th play off.
Saturday.
So I look at it and I go, man, I wonder if Austin Hedges, too, just giving him some credit that I have no clue if he deserves or not, I wonder how much he possibly helps out Jonah Heim during the game, before the game planning, working sequences. I talked about earlier the sequence of curveball changeup and how that can be a bad sequence. It doesn't mean it's an impossible sequence, but Mitch Garver took advantage of that sequence. So I just wonder how much Austin Hedges, with his experience of being a very good defensive catcher, maybe puts little nuggets, little things, little seeds into Jonah Heim's head pregame or leading up to a series or in between in the third inning going, hey, Jonah, great job on that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That sequence really worked. Be careful on that sequence next time, or hey, repeat that sequence again. There's no way that hitter is going to be able to adjust to that sequence.
Yeah, or even if Jonah asks, hey, man, I didn't see this. What are your thoughts here? It's great. They've built such a great clubhouse, and the energy in that clubhouse.
Can you imagine other people trying to talk like us right now that are competing against us?
Nobody can. Nobody can. The home of your ALDS winners, the Texas Rangers, 105.3 The Fan. And if anybody out there, if the Tolos find out what is on Austin Hedges' butt, like if we find, I would love to find out what that meant. When Bochy said that last night, what was he talking about? All right,
it's truly not on his butt, right?
You know what?
It can't be literal.
Maybe it is. Maybe they're just marking it every time. Maybe they're just marking off games. They marked it and they said just keep it on there. Don't take a shower.